for Michigan to win this football game, Blake, and I think that there are multiple games this year.
We're on Michigan now?
Yeah, we're on Michigan. I'm
right.
sorry to throw us in there. I feel like we're already talking about it.
Okay.
We have a couple of games this year where opposing defenses with athletic linebackers have drawn up Jalen Milroe, beat us as a quarterback. We're not letting you run for shit. We're going to get after you. We're going to play really good contain. We're going to spy you with really fast linebackers.
I agree.
And we have seen him throw for a lot of yards, but take 4+ sacks and throw interceptions and turn the ball over. They've won those games because their defenses bailed them out. But those were against teams that did not have the same level of offensive prowess and capability that Michigan has if they are hot and they are cooking. So for Michigan to win this game, they have to play the best contain that they can possibly play. And you need to take these athletic linebackers like Junior Colson, spy him, and do not let him pick up any yards as a runner. That has to be the main goal. And I feel like Georgia got away from that, and that's part of what hurt them when they played them in the SEC championship game.
If I'm Michigan and it's my key to win, look, I know I said the same about Alabama and just play your game. Joe, I do think that there are some things that Michigan's going to have to do a little bit differently to win this game. I don't think that they can just play bully ball and it be a massive success. Look, one thing that they are pretty good in and are really well coached in is third down offense and third down defense. You're going to have to get J.J. McCarthy, in these third and short situations, because I promise you, if you're 3rd and 5+, Alabama is going to eat you alive because, Joe, we saw against Penn State and we saw against Ohio State at times that the right side of their offensive line was not good enough. And Alabama is just not a team that you can allow for him to get 5, even 7 step drops and get the ball out. He cannot be in these 3rd and 5+ situations for any of this to work. I will use another explosive offense that Alabama played this year in a team that I cover in LSU. Joe, what happened in the second half? Okay. They played bump and run, man-to-man coverage, and they said, you know what? Look, we are just going to allow you to get 3 and 4 yards on first down, and we're going to clamp down on third down, right? Like all we're going to do is just play man up across the board. And Jaden, we know you're going to beat us anyway, but you know what? We're going to play a little bit of keep away, and we're going to just play bump and run man-to-man. And it burned them sometimes, and it helped them sometimes. But the reason LSU was tied going into half, and why they even took the lead into the third quarter, mainly was because Jaden Daniels had 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4s to deal with. If you are not getting in those manageable situations for J.J. McCarthy, this is not the team with Dallas Turner and these boys that you can just – Joe, what's the word I'm looking for here? That you can just think that you're going to convert every one of those downs. You're not going to be able to do that. So I think managing, running the ball early in the game, getting 2, 3, 4 yards, playing your game, and then, Joe, when those safeties creep up, hit somebody down deep, try to open things up. Basically, Joe, you got to do what you did at Ohio State a year ago, right? That's the game plan that you have to have is what you did to Ohio State. The only fear that I have here, Joe, is one massive thing. If this game does get high scoring for whatever reason, even though I don't believe that it will be, okay? But if it is, Michigan has not been in a shootout all year long, right? And if their defense is leaky and they can't stop Jalen Milroe in this offense to save their lives, Joe, they're 72nd in passing offense. And I know it's not their game, but if you get into a shootout and this game if I'm Alabama, I'm even running a little bit of tempo. You got to play a little keep away, manageable third downs, march the ball down the field. But you're going to have to hit big plays too. I'm not telling you just, run it, and then you're going to have to hit big plays. But if J.J. McCarthy does not have manageable downs, they're not going to win this football game.
One thing I want to add here offensively, I don't love pulling from rivalry weekend for examples of how to attack a team because, like we've talked about this.
I'll give one Maryland. They got it. They got to do what they did against Maryland in that third and fourth quarter when Maryland started to score. They got to be able to answer punch for punch.
That wasn't I wasn't trying to discredit anything you said.
Okay.
I was trying to set up a point here with the Iron Bowl is hard to like really pull takeaways and weaknesses from because it's such a crazy game. It was at Auburn. Any bad team on either side has gotten up for the opponent in that game and kept it close. But I also think it's tangible to notice how Auburn kept that game close was through running Peyton Thorne and adding him as a layer to the running game and running the ball as effectively as they did. I think their argument for how they win this game and why they could win this game is that if J.J. McCarthy is cleared of this unknown injury that has not been disclosed and he's able to be a better impactful runner, ask him to do that. Force him to do that. Incorporate him as much as possible because for whatever reason, Alabama has had this deficiency at handling these guys. It even happened with Joe Milton in the first half. And because of some strange circumstances and Tennessee went down by too much in the beginning of the second half, they were trying to play catch up. And because Alabama was so good defensively, they weren't getting any openings and he was taking a ton of hits and a ton of sacks. So that game was donezo because Alabama's defense was so good. But in this circumstance, man, we've got a lot of examples that aren't talked about enough where running quarterbacks have taken advantage of Alabama's defense. Peyton Thorne's not as good of an athlete as J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy's a much better runner. So if he's healthy,
what you're saying is,
run him.
What you're trying to say is, in which I fully agree with you, and we talked about this during the LSU game, LSU and Alabama. Jane Daniels, what he does with his arm, it's going to be impressive. Like he's got 2 first-round wide receivers. It's going to be impressive. It's what he was going to be able to do with his legs that would separate, and that's what separated. Joe, I agree with you. That's a great point. He's going to have to take off. And, look, they like to run these bootlegs, these little waggles and stuff like that. If I tell Jay, if I'm Harbaugh, I tell JJ, look, I don't want you to get hurt. Get the first down and get down. But, Joe, if he picks up 8, 9, 10 yards plus, how do I care how he's getting yards and marching the ball down the field? I don't give 2 shits if he throws for 1 yard. Now, you do bring up something here. And I have been told by Michigan fans for a month now, okay, when we talk about them, Joe, he has not had a good month. He has underperformed. And the truth is, since the cheating Connor Stallion scandal has picked up, he has not looked the same. Now, I do think it's going to be different with Harbaugh on the sidelines, but Joe, look at the struggles he had against Iowa. How long is he going to be hurt? How long are you going to use that argument about ankle or whatever it was that you're claiming that it was? Iowa is a bunch of farm boy white dudes.
But it's still one of the best defenses.
I don't give a shit because it's not the green grass athletes that you're going to play against.
I understand that, but you can tangibly see that the guy is having trouble planting and cutting, and he's not the same. They're not running him at all. They hadn't run him at all.
That makes my point, right? Like you could say, "Oh, he's hurt. He's nursing an injury." Thank you for confirming a point here.
He's had a month. He's had a month to recover. So I'm not disagreeing with you. It's a coin flip.
That he didn't re-aggravate? What if he re-aggravates it? You never know. And Joe,
right? That's why I'm saying it's a coin flip here. Of like, does he actually end up being fully recovered? Is this a severe injury? Is he playing with a broken foot? And have they been, juicing him up with painkillers? Is it just an ankle sprain? Right. Like, is it something stupid that he's just, lingering and it's being used as an excuse? So you're right. It's a coin flip. They don't disclose the information, so we have no idea.
Alabama is one of the better teams in the secondary. They've been all year. They're one of the better scoring defenses. You're going to have to play a little keep away, but you've got to hit these. You got to be manageable and you got to hit explosive plays. If you don't, Saban's going to eat you alive. All right.